thoughts? Georgia now taking on Central Florida coming up in about 30 seconds.
Well, I'll tell you, don't sleep on this Central Florida team. Jeff Godfrey, their quarterback, he broke all of Ja'Cory Harris's records, high school records down there in South Florida, and they have some dangerous pass rushers as well, Darius Knoll and Bruce Miller.
Yeah, Central Florida going for an 11th win this season. What a year they have had down there in Florida. All right, it's just about time. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl from Memphis, Tennessee, Georgia, Central Florida.
We welcome you to Memphis, Tennessee, home of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, now in its 52nd year. Today, an intriguing matchup of freshman quarterbacks as Aaron Murray and the Georgia Bulldogs of the SEC go head-to-head with Jeff Godfrey and the Knights of Central Florida from Conference USA. It's the 2010 edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and it comes your way next. On a muggy afternoon on the final day of 2010, it is time for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, the 52nd edition, where today in the Liberty Bowl, the SEC gets set to battle with Conference USA as the Central Florida Knights, coming off a 10-3 record and a championship, take on the Georgia Bulldogs. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday, and we have got a special treat for you as we continue with this football bonanza here on ESPN over the next few days. An interesting matchup in terms of this. This Georgia Bulldog football team started off 1-4 with a 4-game losing skid. There were many people around Athens and around the South that were saying this Georgia team is headed in the wrong direction. Will they ever be able to get it back under Mark Richt? Well, they did. They went 5-2 down the stretch, got to the postseason. Can they keep it going in this ball game against a very good Central Florida team that has a 10-3 record, coming off their second Conference USA championship in the past few years, and also their first ever top 25 ranking? So a lot going forward for George O'Leary and the Central Florida team. And Andre Ware, as we begin to break down this game, a former quarterback, a Heisman Trophy, you know something about the position, and you've had a smile on your face all week because we've got two very young and talented QBs.
Well, you know I like quarterbacks, and I like good play at the quarterback position. Two youngsters going to face off today in this game for Georgia. Aaron Murray, that was a question mark for the Georgia Bulldogs coming into the season, but he answered all the questions. Over 2,800 yards passing. That's a Georgia freshman record. 24 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. He takes care of the football. He's been solid. On the other side, Jeff Godfrey, a dual threat quarterback that is just smooth. You talk about a guy, if lanes open up, he can make plays with his legs, but a 68% passer as a true freshman is dynamite. I love this matchup. It'll be a good one this afternoon.
Well, we've got a couple of playmakers at quarterback, and guess what? We also have one of the best playmakers in all of college football at wide receiver, A.J. Green. We'll have more on him when we come back to Memphis. Back in Memphis, Tennessee on a muggy afternoon on the final day of 2010. The Knights and the Dogs coming your way in a matter of moments. We talked a moment about A.J. Green. A lot of discussion about his future. For more on him, let's go down to the sideline and check in with our third member, Kara Capuano. Kara.
Well, guys, you can count the Georgia fans among the many nationwide that are worried that the bowl game is going to be their last opportunity to watch a third-year superstar shine. Of course, we're talking about star receiver A.J. Green. A lot of time has been spent wondering about what his future holds. Will he go pro? Well, Mark Richt told us that he plans to talk to his receiver after the game today. They will line out what's ahead for Green. We asked offensive coordinator Mike Bobo about it, and he said he's been praying every night that Green stays for his senior season. Obviously, Dave, the mere presence of number 8 on the field opens up the offense for the Bulldogs.
Thank you, Kerry, and I think you saw those numbers. You see the value he brings to this program, a 15-point difference with him in the lineup. Well, conditions could be a factor today. It is already windy. We will have gusts up near 20 miles an hour today, swirling around the Liberty Bowl. Rain expected at some point. However, we are crossing our fingers that it might miss us.
Fantastic right now, though. I'm talking football weather and a great time to get it on between the Bulldogs and the Knights.
Central Florida won the toss. They decided they wanted the football. Quincy McDuffie will take it. An explosive return man. A flag is down. McDuffie on the run. He has 3 career kickoff returns for touchdowns. We will see if this stands. 99 yards.
You talk about 3 career returns for touchdowns, 2 of those this season, and leads the nation in kick return average at 28.3.
During the return, holding number 35 of the receiving team. The penalty will be 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Special teams have been brilliant for Central Florida all season. That is a hiccup.
Boy, just a right return, and right there, 35, you get it right there. It's just outside the shoulder pads. The effort. A lot of good blocks thrown. Ronnie Weaver's the guy that gets flagged for the hole. We'll bring it back and start it all over at the 11-yard line, but he is a fantastic kick returner. 32.7 yards per return in kick return yard average.
You look at the quarterback, Jeff Godfrey, the true freshman out of Miami, Florida. 68% completion rate. 13 touchdowns and 6 picks. They'll line up in the shotgun. That handoff goes to Latavius Murray. And Murray out over the 15, out to the 18-yard line as we take a look at this Central Florida offense. An offense that has some playmakers in the backfield. None bigger than the quarterback, Jeff Godfrey, but Latavius Murray and Ronnie Weaver will get most of the carries. Kamar Aiken and Quincy McDuffie, a couple of talented receivers. They'll run 4 or 5 receivers at you. Up front, the left side of this line needs to be very solid today if they're going to have some success. The right side with Ja Reed has been successful all year. Second down, and we'll call it 2 for the Knights. He'll put it to the far side. That'll be a first down as Kenneth Williams takes it out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. That is a 13-yard pickup against this Georgia defense under Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator, his first year. Switches things up to a 3-4 from a 4-3. D'Angelo Tyson has been very good in the middle. Had a career-high 16 total tackles against Georgia Tech. Linebacking core led by Justin Houston, All-American. 42 quarterback hurries for the junior out of Statesboro, Georgia. And in the secondary, keep an eye on the strong safety, number 9, Alec Ogletree, a true freshman out of Noonan, Georgia. They say, folks, he is All-American type of safety. Georgia got to hop into that neutral zone. 3 play, perhaps, for Godfrey and the Knights. He'll just throw it out of bounds.
There's going to be an offsides penalty against Georgia, jumping DeMarcus Dobbs. The defensive end, the right defensive end, with a snap count from a freshman.
Offside. Defense. Number 58. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Well, we talked to the Central Florida coaches, and they say that Jeff Godfrey is, you see the hard count right there, getting everybody to jump, wise beyond his years.
There is George O'Leary, 7th season in Orlando with this UCF team. Boy, he has done a marvelous job. He's actually 3-5 versus the Georgia Bulldogs. Of course, spent 7 years as the head coach at Georgia Tech. In motion across Ryan Waters, but they will run the right side. Latavius Murray hit by Jordan Love, a gain of 3. There's Mark Richt, and boy, he has been under pressure this year from, I wouldn't say necessarily the administration as much as it's been from people outside of the university expecting a little bit more, but winning 5 of your last 7 games to get to a bowl game kind of has quieted the fan base a little bit.
Been to a bowl game every year that he's been there. 7-2 in bowl games. That's getting it done at a nice pace.
A couple of tight ends for the Knights. And second down and short. 2nd and 2. Godfrey. That handoff goes to Murray again, and he might be a yard, half-yard shy as Justin Houston's come crashing in from his defensive position. Boy, Justin Houston, Andre, when you turn on the tape, he seems to be everywhere.
There's no doubt about it. He is, talking to Todd Grantham, he is the ideal 3-4 outside linebacker. Long guy that can rush the passer. 10 sacks on the season. Can come off the edge, can drop into pass coverage, put his hand on the ground. He can do it all.
3rd down and short. sneak. Godfrey falls forward. He should have plenty for the first down. They will spot it out over the 42, and that will be good enough to move the sticks. For this Central Florida offense, scoring 33 points a game. That's 5th in their league, 24th in the country.
Yeah, Jeff Godfrey started training to be a quarterback when he was about 5 years old. His dad, Jeffrey, was a good quarterback, high school quarterback down in the Miami area, and got him out by the age of 8. He was throwing the football accurately about 30 yards and just kept developing from that point on.
They'll line up in the pistol formation. Godfrey over the middle. Pass is dropped inside the Georgia 40. Right over the outstretched hands of Alec Ogletree, looking for Jamar Newsom.
And you don't see that too much from Jamar Newsom. Little crossing route in the middle of the field. He's their go-to receiver. Big play guy that makes a lot of plays down the field, averages over 17 yards a catch. And he's thrown a little bit behind him. But that's one in a bowl game, Dave. You got to come up with that catch.
Newsom, 34 catches on the year, averaging over 17 yards per reception, 3 100-yard games. Now you're looking at 2nd down and 10. With a 4-man look from Georgia. Quick hitter to the outside, nearly picked off. A.J. Guyton batted it in the air, and that was almost trouble.
Pre-game jitters. A lot of adrenaline right now running through the veins of the players for Central Florida. And these are easy catches, easy balls that should be plucked out of the air. And you're just trying on 2nd down. When you throw that slant, pick up about 6 yards to get it to a manageable situation on 3rd to stay out of 3rd and long where they are right now.
Looking at a 3rd down and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. But look at the numbers for Central Florida this year on 3rd downs. Obviously the best in Conference USA. Here comes some heat from Georgia. Godfrey just gets it away, throws it out of bounds. Looking for Brian Waters. Pressure came from Darrell Gamble as Georgia sold out on the 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Gamble's a good blitzer, very instinctive player, and made the move from inside linebacker to the outside because of depth issues for Georgia this year when they switched to the 3-4 defense. You got to have a lot of linebackers, only 3 defensive linemen, and he made the switch from the inside spot to the outside and has been great.
How about A.J. Green back to return the punts? He's been practicing all year, hadn't had much of an opportunity to do so. He'll wave his team off, and this settles inside the 5, down to the 2-yard line, where it is down right there by Ronnie Weaver. A 55-yard punt from Blake Klingon, the senior out of Coral Springs, Florida.
Special teams and field position until you get things ironed out. Because you've been off so long, he can have a big influence in this football game, especially early.
Well, here comes Aaron Murray, and I don't think this was the field position he was expecting to have on his first series, but we talked about him in the open. Doesn't play like a freshman. He just seems to have that poise that a junior or senior has.
No, he's solid. You see the pass efficiency numbers, and I like the touchdown interceptions. 24-6. He takes care of the football for a young player.
Wearing 2 gloves today. I haven't seen that from him this year. As Georgia lines up in the traditional I formation out of the end zone. That handoff goes to Washaun Ely. He'll get maybe a yard. Remember today, Caleb King not with the team. Caleb King did not travel to Memphis, had some academic issues, so Washaun Ely gets the start at tailback. He's the team's leading rusher anyway. Fred Munzenmeyer, the start at tailback, as Sean Chapp is their usual starter, is out with an injury. Look for Orson Charles to have a good game. He's been playing well of late. Trenton Sturdivant, yet another start for a young man who missed 2 seasons because of knee injuries. He seems to be getting closer and closer to the Trenton Sturdivant that was a freshman All-America back in 2007. Will play action. Murray under pressure. Will scramble out to the 10. Falls forward close to the first down. Bruce Miller chases him down, but a gain of 9. And that will move the chains.
I'll tell you what, he's an instinctive player in his own right, Aaron Murray. And I think what goes under the radar, what flies under it, is his ability to scramble and make plays. At times, he's been known as kind of a gunslinger, and he'll take on defensive backs. But right here, you don't have to run 4-3 to play the quarterback position. Be able to slide, move around, find a soft spot. And Aaron Murray picking up the first down in that situation.
A little bit of breathing room for Georgia. Not out of trouble yet. Ball sits at the 13-yard line out of the shotgun. 3 receivers to the near side, but they will hand it off to Rashawn Ely. Off guard, will get it out to the 17, maybe 18-yard line. As we take a look at this UCF defense that gave up 18 points a game, 12th best in the country. And keep an eye on number 49, Bruce Miller, the senior out of Canton, Georgia. Grew up a Bulldog fan. Here's the best thing I could say about Bruce. He is almost a replica of former All-American at Georgia, David Pollock. Linebacking core led by Derek Hallman, the senior, 81 total stops. Second best on the team. And keep an eye on Josh Robinson in the secondary, the best cover guy for the Knights. 4-man front. Murray. Durham out over the 25 to the 30-yard line. A gain of 16 yards, and he was wide open. But a flag in that Georgia backfield. That may be a late hit or helmet-to-helmet against Central Florida on Aaron Murray.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the run, first down.
Boy, and just Aaron Murray standing in there, seeing the big target of Chris Durham. And it's Victor Gray who gets there a little bit late. And you'll see the roughing the passer going a little bit high as well, and that's going to get a flag thrown each and every time. But Chris Durham is a guy that battled injuries most of his career, fifth-year senior, and stepped in when A.J. Green was out serving the suspension the first 4 games and was magical for Georgia offensively. Averages Dave over 21 yards of reception.
Well, Georgia started this drive at their 2. They are up to the 46-yard line. Murray to throw again. As his fullback, Munzenmeyer, makes the catch, the 10th catch of the season for the senior out of Norcross, Georgia. Give him a gain of 7.
And it seems like a simple play, but for a redshirt freshman, timing is of the essence. When you want to throw the football to a guy in the flat, whether it's a slot receiver or your fullback out of the backfield, first color, he's open, give it to him. And that shows you the development of Aaron Murray, the redshirt freshman quarterback. You wait a little bit, all of a sudden he runs out of real estate, he's along the sideline, or you allow a defender to make a play on the football.
Second down out of the eye.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Look at the Bulldogs season, and they finished 3rd in the SEC East, but remember they started 1-4, had that 4-game skid, and everybody was ready to jump off the bridge in Athens, but they finished up 5-2, had a good win over Georgia Tech, and when they got A.J. Green back, the Bulldog offense started cranking it up. 7 straight games, over 30 points for Georgia's offense. That is the first time they've ever done that in the history of their program. Here's A.J. Green, his first catch into UCF territory, down around the 46-yard line, a gain of 7.
And Josh Robinson, the UCF best cover guy, but you know, there were so many expectations. You look at where this is what they did this season. First 4 games missed by A.J. Green, but the expectations were huge for Georgia coming in. One of the best offensive lines supposedly in the country. The only question mark was going to be who was going to lead them at quarterback, and Aaron Murray stepped in, had a heck of a season, but there were so many expectations going to the 3-4 defense. That was going to help them out. They just came up a little bit short of those expectations.
They will reset the play clock on 3rd down and 2. And Andre, I think you hit it on the head. Is I think the expectations for Georgia. They were expected to be able to run the ball fabulously with their running back core, their offensive line, but they finished 10th in the conference in rushing at 147 yards a game as they hand it off to Rashawn Ely, who powers his way for a first down inside the 40.
You know, Caleb King was coming back. Rashawn Ely was set to be the starter. He served some suspension time early in the season. Carlton Thomas and Fred Munzenmeyer, Sean Chappis, they were set at the skill positions and just underperformed early in the season, enough to get them behind the 8 ball. And had to fight and struggle to go 5-2 down the stretch to get themselves in a bowl game.
Sean Ely, averaging over 5 yards a carry, 11 touchdowns. His long run this year is 58 yards, averages about 68 as he splits out wide to the right. Murray will throw it that direction to Durham. Durham gets a couple of blocks, spins right into one Knight player, still on his feet. They were spotted at the 44, gain of 4.
Well, here are the guys at the running back position that carry the load for Georgia. We mentioned with Sean Ely, Caleb King, and Carlton Thomas, all respectable yards per carry average guys, but the consistency just wasn't there. They didn't have them all at the same time, it seemed like, in consecutive weeks, and really weren't as potent. They like to line up, I formation with a fullback, 2 backs, and come downhill at you, and just didn't have that luxury this season.
Second down and 6. Ely tripped up at the 35-yard line by Justin Body, the senior, out of Atlanta, GA. You know, it's a big afternoon for him to face the Georgia Bulldogs. You talked about Bruce Miller, the defensive end who grew up a Bulldog fan. This is more than just a game for those young men.
Well, it's not an easy thing to try to run the football against Central Florida. They are 10th in the nation against the run at just giving up 110 yards, and you see the third down percentage for the Bulldogs at 42% on the season.
Looking at a 3rd and 5. 10th play of the drive. Murray over the middle. One-handed catch by Tavares King. That'll be a first down. And one for the highlight reel for King to show his kids one day.
Well, what do you want if you're a young quarterback or a quarterback in general, is a guy that can catch the football away from his body. You don't have to throw a dime each and every time. And look at this. That's a little A.J. Greenish. You know, you see that guy on the other side make plays like that, and all of a sudden it gets contagious. Tavares King, the sophomore, he has to do a lot of things, and he's really stepped his game up this season.
Fresh set of downs down for the Bulldogs. Down to the I formation. Here comes some heat from UCF. Georgia rolls from it. Here's Charles, the tight end. He might have another first down inside the 15-yard line.
Well, what a nice block by Josh Davis, the right tackle, which allowed Aaron Murray to get outside and have a nice little throwing lane to Orson Charles. When you design plays, one guy can make the difference. Watch the right tackle here. He's going to seal the thing up right there. You just see it. He seals enough to get Murray to the outside, and a nice throwing lane to Orson Charles, the sophomore tight end, who is magnificent in his own right.
High school teammate with his quarterback Aaron Murray down in Tampa. Here's Ely inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. Remember, folks, this drive started at the Georgia 2-yard line. It was a scramble by Aaron Murray that got them some breathing room, and Murray has gone on to complete his first 6 passes for 53 yards on this drive.
Well, we hear so much about quarterbacks being in rhythm. Well, I think offensive coordinators have to find the same rhythm. You see the red zone scoring for Georgia. Mike Bobo is doing a nice job of mixing plays, the runs and passes in this drive.
Georgia putting this drive together against one of the best defenses in college football. 12th in points allowed are the Knights. Ely cuts it to the right, back inside, down to the 4-yard line. That'll bring up a 3rd down and probably 2, maybe 2.5. Kamal Ismail with the tackle. His 5th already from his safety position.
Well, with Sean Ely, you see the flashes of why they think he can be a great football player. 751 yards on the season, and really had some problems holding on to the football earlier in the year. Got those solved, and then it was protection problems. But you see the flashes that he can really be a special player and runner for the Georgia Bulldogs. Just a sophomore.
Here comes the 14th play of this drive on 3rd down and 2. Ely. Did he get the first down? We'll wait for the spot. It'll be close. Lawrence Young, the first man on the spot for UCF.
I think what you have to guard against if you're Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator for Central Florida, is Georgia wearing down your football, your defense. They are coming at you downhill.
4th down and
deciding to kick the field goal.
A few inches. That'll get a smattering of boos from the Georgia faithful. We thought perhaps.
Well, you're trying to win and you're trying to play and coach and do the right things. You take the points early.
Blair Walsh, one of the best in America, splits the uprights. Georgia's drive. Last 15 plays goes 96 yards. They get 3 out of it and lead. Back in a moment. An impressive start for the Georgia Bulldogs, a drive that had them begin at their own 2-yard line. The results are a 20-yard field goal from Blair Walsh, but certainly that sends a message, I would think.
Yeah, and what's surprising with a field goal attempt on 4th and a few inches is they averaged 4.0 yards per carry. It was 4 for 32, 8 carries for 32 yards, and you figure they weren't stopped behind the line of scrimmage at any point in that drive running the football. Just line up, pound it away. But I'm okay with kicking the field goal. You're in a bowl game, take the points.
You're the player. You got the coach head. I'm the fan. I'm going for it. It's a bowl game. Who cares?
Give me a lead.
Give it a shot.
We might win this baby 3-0. Who knows?
All right, you take that approach. I'll take the other approach. Brandon Bogate will kick it off for the Bulldogs. UCF had a nice opening drive going, but stalled after 3 incompletions in a row. And they're about to get set for their second possession. This kickoff will send Jamar Newsome to the back of the end zone. And we'll step aside after nearly 13 minutes of football without a break. We got to take one sooner or later.
ESPN College Football, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, is brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone. AutoZone. eHarmony.com. eHarmony. Love begins here. And the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
A look inside one of the historic landmarks in Memphis and certainly in this country, Sun Record Studios.
Well, your cousin made it to the game.
He did. Got him some tickets. Why you got to go there? Why you got to do that too? Well, this Georgia football team in their 46th bowl appearance, 14th straight. Into a bowl every year with Mark Richt for this UCF team. It's their 4th bowl appearance of all time. 0-3 in bowl games. They're searching for their first ever bowl win. Second possession for the Knights on 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Godfrey out of that shotgun. Little play action. He will fire it up far side, just out in front of his intended receiver, Quincy McDuffie. Dave Neal, Andre Ware, that man George O'Leary, matching wits with Mark Richt. As the Dogs and the Knights go toe-to-toe, the second time these clubs have met. Second down and 10 coming up. Wide open was Brian Waters near the 30-yard line. That'll be good enough for a first down. They'll mark it just a shade over that 30. Good throw from Godfrey, who gets up hobbling.
Yeah, he took a shot, and he's not a big guy, just 182 pounds, but Aubrey Jones, number 93, is the guy that's going to get there. You see him right there, and that is a big guy coming in on a smaller player. Aubrey Jones, 6'3", 297 pounds, and teeing off on Jeff Godfrey, but Godfrey's tough. I watched him against my alma mater, University of Houston, and he was magical and surgical that day. Tough football player.
Hard to believe he was playing high school football a year ago. There's a handoff from Latavius Murray. Nothing happening there.
You know, we talked about the two quarterbacks, Aaron Murray and as well as Jeff Godfrey. I think the thing that most impressed me about Godfrey, his completion percentage for a true freshman is almost 70%. 68% passer on the season. And you go to the other sideline with Aaron Murray, and he's 24-6 in touchdowns to interceptions. There's two young guys that take care of the football and don't cost their football teams games.
Second down and 10. Godfrey out of Miami with all of Ja'Cory Harris's South Florida passing records. Slings this one deep down the field. Nobody there but a white jersey. Brandon Smith with the pick and slammed to the turf back at the 15-yard line by Kamar Aiken.
Well, this is a lesson that every receiver should learn. When you have a quarterback who's athletic and can move around, you don't stop running. If you're Kamar Aiken, Jeff Godfrey gets outside the pocket, an interception by Brandon Smith. Sets up Georgia with the football.
Kamar Aiken had to make a tackle after his quarterback threw an interception as Georgia leads UCF 3-0 here in the first quarter. Andre, what'd you see on that last play?
Well, I saw Kamar Aiken, a senior wide receiver at the top, kind of cut his route off, and he gets behind the defensive back. An athletic quarterback like Jeff Godfrey sees it, and he's going to put the football up. But another teaching point as well, right here. Tight end, right there. Adam Nicely, wide open. He'll catch it, pick up the first down for you. You can't think big play all the time. Sometimes you just have to take what's presented in front of you.
And that's probably the discussion they're having with Godfrey right there. So Georgia inside their 20 on first down and 10. Murray, quick hitter to the outside. A.J. Green to the 30 and still on his feet to the 33-yard line. Josh Robinson finally brings him down, but another couple of missed tackles for the Knights, a gain of 16.
Well, you can't lose outside containment to A.J. Green, and Josh Robinson, that's exactly what happens. He takes the inside path, exactly what the blocker there wanted him to do, as well as A.J. Green, and then now you're going to pay the price by giving up a first down to one of the nation's best wide receivers, A.J. Green.
How about the start today for Aaron Murray? 7 out of 7, 69 yards. He has hit 5 different receivers.
Yeah. And give Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, credit as well of getting his feet solidly set underneath him.
Going deep now, looking for Green to make a play. A lot of contact for about 20 yards.
See, you just jinxed Murray. Said he was 7 of 7, and then he throws his first incompletion as the quarter ends.
A.J. Green, Jordan Ozerites going shoulder to shoulder. But Georgia, with an impressive 96-yard drive, lead after 1 quarter of play here in Memphis at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Back in a moment.
The 2011 All-State Sugar Bowl, Tuesday on ESPN.
52nd edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, the second oldest bowl in college football, the 7th oldest bowl in college football, part of the parade yesterday down Beale Street. Just a block or so from our hotel over at the historic Peabody. Aaron Murray and the Georgia Bulldogs also staying there, and it seems to have worked well for that man. 7 out of 8, 69 yards in that first quarter. Here's a young man that Mike Bobo says just prepares like he's a senior. Doesn't prepare like a redshirt freshman.
No.
Prepares like Andre Ware did back in the day, right?
I was forced to prepare.
Murray throws across the middle. Here's A.J. Green. Hit it midfield. That'll be a first down. His third catch. That one good for 18. Justin Body with the tackle. But Aaron Murray's been good since the first snap today.
Yeah, in the end zone, showing you his ability to make plays with his legs. Gets his team a little breathing room. And then nice catch here by Chris Durham. And then the big guy, Tavares King, a nice snag. Just moving around, making plays, distributing the football. And of course, A.J. Green. It's nice to have him as on the outside as well.
Carlton Thomas checks in the game. Doesn't matter as Aaron Murray is slung to the turf. Derek Hallman from his linebacker position picks up his second sack, and Georgia loses 13 yards.
Yeah, the 4-year starter at outside linebacker, and he's kind of gone back and forth between outside linebacker and strong safety, but they finally come with some pressure on Aaron Murray. Usually it's zone or little man without the pressure, but they bring the heat this time and get to Aaron Murray. I was saying, hey, we're going to play downhill defensively.
So now Georgia looks at a second down and 23. Thomas will stay in the game at tailback. He'll get the handoff. Carlton Thomas, all 5'7", 170 pounds, picks up 3 yards.
This is the offensive look that Mike Bobo and Mark Richt like, with a fullback, a tight end, and then a running back in the I formation and coming downhill at you. But they've kind of been banged up at that position of running back, and guys suspended, never really having the depth that they wanted all season long. So it's been a change. Munson-Meyer is a guy that they can line up when they want to go one back and swing it around a little bit. They'll put him back there by himself.
Looks like they might need to sling it around right here, Andre, on a 3rd down and 20. 6 defensive backs in the game for UCF. Murray trying to set up a little screen. Does so. Thomas nowhere to run. He is met at the 40-yard line by Bruce Miller, whose motor runs at 100,000 RPMs every moment he's on the field. He has been a sensational player his entire career, the senior out of Canton, Georgia.
And he gets the fans' approval with the chant of Bruce. And right there, he shows you he can make plays in the open field, loves playing on special teams. He became a starter and actually got a little angry with Coach O'Leary. He cut his reps down on special teams. He's a guy who never came off the field in high school.
2-time Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year. Drew Butler punts it away. The ball will hit at the 22 and take a Georgia roll down inside the 20 at the 16-yard line. A 42-yard kick for Drew Butler, who came in averaging 44.7 per kick. We will step aside. Central Florida has the football, down 3. Back in Memphis at the 52nd edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Just the second of 3 games coming your way on ESPN. Following us is the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta. And don't forget, tomorrow, Capital One Bowl Week continues with the SEC Big Ten New Year's Day resolution and a choice of 3 games on ESPN's family of networks. First, at 1 o'clock Eastern on the ABC, Urban Meyer looks to win his career at Florida on a high note when the Gators take on Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions in the Outback Bowl. Now also at 1 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide meet Mark D'Antonio's 9th-ranked Michigan State Spartans in the Capital One Bowl. And at 1:30 Eastern on ESPN2, catch the Progressive Gator Bowl as the Mississippi State Bulldogs take on the Wolverines from Michigan. Capital One Bowl Week on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2 tomorrow. Also, all 3 games can be seen online at ESPN3.com.
Oh, Alabama, Michigan State. Talk about a physical football game.
Here's Godfrey trying to work that left side. Georgia's done a nice job containing him today, but certainly a lot of talk about the Big Ten SEC matchups tomorrow. One of those, Florida and Urban Meyer's final game as head coach. You see his numbers. I mean, it goes down. When you look at the numbers in his career at Florida and you throw in his Utah days, 10 years as a head coach, it's got to be one of the greatest careers ever in college football.
Or runs, because I think he's got more that he's going to add to that career. But I think he'll be back at some point. But it was a nice run at Florida.
Godfrey scrambling his way out over the 25 to the 26-yard line. But to stay on that Florida theme for a moment, there are some, I don't want to call them rumors because there seems to be a little substance to this, but Charlie Weiss possibly heading to Florida to be their offensive coordinator.
Yep, there's a story on ESPN.com that has him saying that he's going to take the job at Florida but stay with the Kansas City Chiefs throughout the AFC playoffs. And then
what do you
become
think
the offensive coordinator. I think it's great. Charlie Weiss can coach offensive football. Look what he's done for the Kansas City Chiefs, who, last year were less than good, to be kind to them. But this season, a miraculous turnaround. And because he became the offensive coordinator, Romeo Crennel certainly the defensive coordinator. And it's been a great story. But I think Will Muschamp, if he can land Charlie Weiss as his offensive coordinator, they are well on their way at Florida.
Georgia's lead is 3 here in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl as UCF lines up on 1st down and 10. Godfrey running a little option game to the right side. There's the pitch. Georgia ate that up in a hurry. Ronnie Weaver, no gain. Justin Houston comes in to make the tackle.
Yeah, but it was the outside contain of Brandon Boykin who forced things back inside and keeping outside leverage so Ronnie Weaver could not turn up the field or get outside of containment. forcing everything back inside, so that's where his help was coming from.
Second down and 10 coming up. Godfrey, 3 carries, 12 yards rushing. Will throw it and miss his target, Jamar Newsom. That'll bring up a 3rd down. And this has been one of those years. If you look at, the Knights record at 10-3, obviously impressive. Conference USA champs, 7-1. They beat SMU in the title game. But when we were talking to George O'Leary, it was like I asked him to describe the season, and he says, I don't like to play the what-if game.
Yeah.
But this could have been a season where we went undefeated. We left a couple of plays on the field that cost us some games.
Yeah, they're without Brent Harvey, who was an 1,100-yard rusher and 14 touchdowns at running back. And they kind of had to do it by committee this season. So you add that to the mix, it really could have been a nice season for Central Florida.
Could have been nice.
Yeah, it's been a great season. 10-3, double-digit wins is nothing to frown at whatsoever. Conference champions.
Godfrey's still hobbling on that left leg, it looks like. Got hurt on the previous series.
Well, it was early, I think, in the first quarter when Avery Jones hit him. And he just kind of has not been the same since.
George O'Leary letting that offensive line know he's not too pleased with their performance at this point. Blake Klingon will punt it away. A.J. Green will field it at the 25. A.J. dancing around, trying to get to the outside. Stays on his feet. Nice return by A.J. Green to the 44-yard line. A 19-yard return. Looked like UCF had him pinned up for no gain.
Yeah, maybe missed a flag there as well, a little bit late. Mark Rick giving it to the official on that sideline. But I don't know if I've seen an athlete like A.J. Green, who is, with his size, that can do so much in terms of redirecting himself.
Talk a little UGA for you. Some interesting news the last couple of days. Back in a moment.
ESPN College Football, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, is brought to you by FedEx. We understand you need reliable shipping solutions. FedEx. Nationwide Insurance. Nationwide is on your side. And the Touchdown Big Box, only at Taco Bell.
Great week of activities yesterday. The parade down Beale Street.
It was a huge turnout. I was on my way back to the hotel and just barely made it in before the parade. If you get caught and they're coming through, you just got to wait it out. Put it in park and wait.
A.J. Green, everybody wants to know the, I would say $1,000,000 question, but it's actually the multi-million-dollar question. Will he wait?
Well, you're talking about,
will he come back?
Talking about a top 5 pick. And all his athletic ability. That's a tough one.
He said that he will discuss this after the game.
Yeah.
Didn't say much about it at all this week. Early in the season, right after he was suspended for those 4 games to start the season, he came back and said, you know what, I feel like I owe it to the Georgia fans. I owe it to my teammates to come back. But as the season unfolded.
What did I tell you when that came out?
And he started making some plays and once again got to the A.J. Green that we knew from years past. Yeah, you said it.
I said wait till December.
Yeah,
see if he feels the same way about December. But you see in this game why people talk about him being a top 5 pick. Look at the route running. Nice, crisp route at the top coming back to the quarterback and then catching the football. It's after the catch, making guys miss. So athletic for a guy 6'4", 212 pounds, and can still add to his frame. And then you see here the direction change and making guys miss. He's so athletic. That's why he's so attractive to NFL teams. He'll be a top 5 pick. He'll run well, catch the football as well. The top receiver if he comes out in this year's draft.
Mark Richt has been letting him practice punt returns most of the season. Finally getting a chance to showcase some of those skills here in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. They're going to throw it back to the far side of the field. That catch made by Marlon Brown, who's coming back home. The parade All-American from Memphis, Tennessee. Big week for Marlon to showcase his skills here in his hometown.
Yeah, last time he was in Memphis, all he did was go for 338 total yards in the state championship game. He was a first-team All-State player.
Mark Rick telling us that the game just a little bit faster for Marlon. It's taken him a while to get comfortable with SEC-type speed and athleticism, but he's going to get there. Carlton Thomas inside the 40. That'll be a Bulldog first down after he picks up a dozen.
Boy, good blocking by the left side of that offensive line. Trenton Sturdivant and Cordy Glenn, the tackle and guard respectively, and they get everything pinned down inside, and that's what gives Carlton Thomas the corner. That offensive line, I think they've finally gotten people in the right spots. With Sturdivant at left tackle, who seems to get better with each and every rep. And you mentioned freshman All-American. Just about back to that level.
First down and 10, couple of tight ends in the game. Thomas stays in at tailback. Murray dodges some night jerseys, looking for A.J. Green, and there are no flags. Looked like Josh Robinson and A.J. Green just got their feet tangled up around the 10.
Well, it looked like Josh Robinson grabbed at the top of the stem when A.J. Green broke the post route. You'll see here it took him a little time to get out of that back pedal, but right there he sees it and just grabs a little bit, but I don't think so. It's a nice play.
Robinson, their best cover guy, locked up with A.J. Green. Dave Neal, Andre Ware, Kara Capuano down on the sidelines. Glad to be with us. In the 52nd edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Sean Ely with the carry inside the 35 down to the 34, gain of 4. And Georgia, their opening drive, got the football at the 2-yard line, marched it all the way down to the UCF 2-yard line, and 4th and inches. Mark Rick decides to kick the field goal.
And it's still 3-0. You laughed at me when I said, hey, this baby could end 3-0. You take points early in a football game, and I'm okay with it. If had he gone for it, I've been okay with that too, but I want the points
You
first.
took the coach perspective. I took the fan perspective. It's a ball game. Go for it.
You'd be an unhappy fan if you don't score and pick up that first down.
Right, you give him the football at the 2, right. Here's Aaron Murray. Pass is picked off. Reggie Weems with the pick. Still on his feet to the 43-yard line, and there's the break that Central Florida was looking for.
It looked like it may have been a quarterback receiver miscommunication. That ball went sailing right into the arms of Reggie Weems, who's their leader in interceptions this season with 4. Now it's 5th. And right there, just out in front of Logan Gray, one of the reserve receivers, and Reggie Weems making them pay and picks up some nice yards on the return to give them some great field position at their own 40-yard line. 40 for 40 right there.
As opposed to 30 for 30, right?
You knew where I was going with that.
I did.
Great series, 30 for 30.
Here's Godfrey. Handed off. Latavius Murray to midfield. Brought down by Justin Houston, a gain of 10.
Boy, what's a turnover do for you? There's a little bit of momentum and fires everybody up. Now the offense feeding from the defense's turnover. The big offensive line, you get them involved in it. They start to get pushed. And these are downhill north-south runners. Ronnie Weaver and Latavius Murray that we've seen early in the football game for Central Florida. They're going to line up and come right at you.
Andre, the first time this afternoon that UCF has been in Georgia territory, and they're just in by a football. Out of the pistol formation. That handoff goes to Murray again. He falls forward for a yard. Justin Houston with his 4th tackle of the afternoon.
And you say that being inside of Georgia territory, but look at the scoreboard. It's been bend but don't break. Georgia leading in time of possession, but they're still very much here at 3-0, and George O'Leary would have it no other way. You're facing an SEC opponent trying to get that first bowl win.
This Knight defense has been pretty solid all year. First in Conference USA and yards allowed, trying to get their offense cranked up here. A couple of missed tackles and a first down for UCF at the Georgia 35-yard line. Brian Waters tackled by Alec Ogletree, gain of 14.
Boy, he's smooth. Jeff Godfrey throwing a dime to Brian Waters, the team's most consistent wide receiver, according to offensive coordinator Charlie Taff. And it's just a deeper slant route, securing the catch and protecting the football. And all of a sudden, Central Florida on the move, Dave. They not only got into Georgia territory, now they're really trying to put a dent in things and maybe get ahead in this football game.
It's his tight end, Adam Nisley, just his 5th catch of the year. Adam, years past, used a little bit more, but with Godfrey kind of taking him out of the mix a little bit, but makes the catch. Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN tonight as Steve Spurrier will try again to best the Seminoles as South Carolina takes on Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN tonight at 7:30 Eastern. All 3 games are also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone.
One pair of eyes will be on that game. My broadcast partner here, Dave Neal, the Florida State alum.
Both those teams trying for 10 wins this year. Godfrey, that handoff to Murray. Murray to the 20-yard line. First down, Knights after he picks up 12. Bakari Rambo in on the tackle.
Well, they'll show you multiple looks on offense in every personnel grouping, but this is what they want to do. Let the offensive line take over. Adam Nisley, the tight end, blocking, who's a great blocker, but Jordan Ray, the center, who is a converted defensive lineman in his first year on the offensive line playing center, throws a nice block inside. They will come downhill right at you.
Here's Murray again, big hole. He's inside the 15. Pickup of 8. Brandon Smith with the stop. We mentioned the Chick-fil-A Bowl coming up after our game from Atlanta, Georgia, in the Georgia Dome. But here are some scores from today. You see, boy, South Florida with a good win over Clemson, and Notre Dame putting it on the Hurricanes. And, of course, South Carolina trying to play a little bit better than they did the first time they were in the Dome this year.
I'll tell you, I was really disappointed in the season at Miami.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a lot better this
year.
year.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Handoff left side. Here's a chance for Murray. He'll pick up the first down at the 6. Sanders Cummings brings him down, but now you see the downhill run game that Central Florida brings to the table.
And this sophomore, Latavius Murray, has gotten hot. They're just saddling up, and they're going to ride him for as long as he can go. Big guy at 6'3", 221 pounds. And I tell you, my high school football coach, Dub Ferris, we're going to run 21 pitch, and we're going to run 21 pitch again until they stop it. Right now, Central Florida threatening Georgia. Georgia's still up 3-0.
Central Florida knocking on the door. First and goal from the 6-yard line. Latavius Murray, 5 carries, 37 yards on this drive. The sophomore coming off the Conference USA Championship game MVP. With the Dogs going with a backup today. For more on that, let's go down to Kara.
Dave, it's time to bring in the power of Russ, the interim mascot between UGA 7 and UGA 8, called back into duty for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl because UGA 8, who was introduced mid-season, had some gastrointestinal issues over the Christmas holiday. Russ is enthusiastic. He's ready to do this job. Of course, he worked the final 2 games of 2009 and the first 6 games this season. His record as the mascot, 4-4.
Russ says, hey, I got this.
I might have just gone with UGA just had some, he's just sick.
Yeah.
First and goal from the 6. Here's Godfrey. Chased down, and boy, that leg is bothering him. Loss of a yard. Rambo will get credit for the tackle, but you're looking at Jeff Godfrey, who was not 100%.
Yeah, and you look at as well in the secondary, the 2 safeties, Bakari Rambo and Alec Ogletree, they feel like they've got two guys, sophomore and freshman respectively, that can make plays in the secondary and going to give them a nice chance to be really good on the back end defensively. You see it there from Bakari Rambo.
Through the Conference USA Freshman of the Year. Second down and goal. Pump fakes going to the corner. Picked off. Brandon Boykin will bring it out of the end zone to the 15-yard line.
Never really molded the football and didn't get anything on it. And if you start picking on Brandon Boykin, you better throw some dimes because he can cover. He'll play all over the field, slot receivers, but this is where he excels. Out on the outside, trying to go to Kamar Aiken. And you'll see right there, Boykin gets position, holds his ground, and then makes a nice athletic play at the top of the point to pick the football off. Boy, I tell you what, Dave, that hurts when you go down the field like Central Florida did and not come away with points. That one's tough.
You know, they're just mashing it against Georgia's front seven on that drive. They go to the air, and it's picked off. Speaking of going to the air, Aaron Murray hits Orson Charles. That's the second catch for Orson Charles. Gain of 8 on the play.
Well, you really like him as a tight end, a guy that's added some weight to his frame and has a chance to be one of the best to ever play at his position at tight end. They've got another good one as well, and Aaron White, who's very, very similar to Orson Charles.
Last 4 games, Orson Charles has been playing very well. 14 catches, couple of TDs. Mike Bobo says, you know what, he's just playing football. He's not worrying about stuff. He's just playing. Trying to set up a wide receiver screen to A.J. Green. He'll get it to the 25-yard line, maybe the 26. Reggie Weems, the first one there, then followed up by David Williams.
Well, who at that size can make guys miss like A.J. Green? I mean, that is a talent that is just sick good. Bunch of missed tackles, 5 missed tackles today by Central Florida's defense.
Yeah, we look at A.J. Green there, Andre. He says, this is kind of fitting. He says the 2 guys he loves to watch the most play wide receiver, Larry Fitzgerald and Andre Johnson.
Pretty good one.
Yeah. Here's a little pump fake by Murray. Tries to thread it into triple coverage. Lucky that didn't get picked off by Justin Body.
Justin Body, he had a great offseason coming in, and I think that's when you win jobs. Is in the offseason, added about 40 pounds to his bench press and dropped his 40 time, allows him to play more physical at the line of scrimmage against bigger receivers like A.J. Green. A lot of guys think, well, I'll just win the job in fall camp. It's through the offseason program, the summer where you put in all the work. That sets you up to win jobs. It's too late going into the fall.
Caught by King, who knocked out of bounds, shy of the first down. Time for us to check in with Robert Flores. What's coming up at halftime?
Well, Carter, I'll be joined by Lou Holtz and Mark May. Will break down Notre Dame's current demolition of Miami in the Sun Bowl. Also, is Charlie Weiss really going back to the college game? We'll explore that. Also, we'll have a preview of the Chick-fil-A Bowl between South Carolina and Florida State. That's coming up at the half. I'll be joined by Mark May and Lou Holtz. Carter, Andre?
Robert Flores, the U of H alum.
Sean Ely will have the first down at the 37-yard line. Justin Body with his 7th tackle. Well, Mark May and Coach Holtz will be with Robert with our H&R Block halftime report. And while you're watching that, you can also go online at ESPN3.com. Intercepted. Josh Lynham picks it off and returns it to the 32-yard line, a 15-yard return. The second pick by Aaron Murray today.
Well, when you have so much time off, and I'm scratching my head, where is Aaron Murray throwing this football, as well as the play of Jeff Godfrey, 2 guys that usually take good care of the football, and you just scratch your head. Where are they going? Well, it's the time off, Dave, when when you can't simulate game speed, and then all of a sudden you're in it. Ball thrown well behind with Sean Ely and right in the heads of Josh Lynam. Right into the mitts, right into the hands of Josh Lynam. Wow. Well, Central Florida with a chance to tie it up again. There's Murray.
1:20 to go before halftime. A gain of 4. Akeem Dent with the tackle.
And you want to score if you're Central Florida here as the first half closes out, because you got to kick the football off to the Georgia Bulldogs to start the second half.
Godfrey. Passes, they'll say complete inside the 20 and out of bounds to Kamar Aiken. A pickup of 10. That'll stop the clock, obviously, with 59 seconds to go. 2 timeouts for the Knights.
Oh, and this is playing right here. A nice throw and an even better catch along the sideline to get yourself the first down, hold on to the football, and then get out of bounds to top it off and stop the clock.
That was a solid catch by Kamar Aiken. Play clock hits 10. First and 10 from the 18. Godfrey slings it to his tight end, who is walloped out of bounds. Adam Nisley holds on, but Christian Robinson with a big hit on the sidelines.
Well, they bring Justin Houston from that side, which kind of creates the void. Hold it right there. You see Justin Houston rush. They go right to the voided area where there's usually an outside linebacker, and Adam Nisley right out there, a nice grab, but he kind of pays the price. Christian Robinson gets a nice lick on him.
Godfrey under pressure, pass caught. Kamar Aiken takes it inside the 10. That'll be a first down. 49 seconds on the clock.
Just soon take a time out there instead of rushing to try to clock it. That one I don't understand. And I was watching North Carolina and Tennessee last night, and the same exact thing happened. Take the time out. You can't take them into you. I would rather have the down and the time than to take a timeout into the locker room with me. It does me no good. So I give myself more opportunities, at least one more play, to score. You don't waste the down when you have a timeout.
UCF with 2 timeouts. Georgia also with a pair of timeouts. Second down and goal from the 7-yard line. Incomplete. It'll be third down and goal from the 7. Looking for the tight end, Nisley.
Nisley's had a nice game today. Came in just 4 receptions on the season. He's known usually for his blocking ability. Strong guy. You can probably get under 520 pounds in bench press.
Sure.
Yeah, right. Sure. Adam Nisley can. I know that for a fact.
Here we go on third down and goal. Pressure comes again. Godfrey slips by the trouble. He's to the 5 and pushed out of bounds there. DeMarcus Dobbs at 285 pounds, showing some good wheels.
I'll tell you what a nice athletic play by a big guy at 285, tracking down Jeff Godfrey. He's not 100%, but it's still impressive when a defensive lineman keeps the angle on a fast quarterback and just basically forces him a little short of getting into the end zone.
George O'Leary wants a timeout as he's thinking about a 4th and goal from the 7. Back in a moment. Georgia with a field goal on their opening possession. Since then, that's been the only scoring In this one, coming up at the half, join Mark May, Lou Holtz, and Robert Flores with the H&R Block halftime report. And while you're watching that, you can also go online at ESPN3.com to check out the legendary OJs performing here as part of the Liberty Bowl halftime show. George O'Leary decides to go for the three.
Right call.
Kick is up, and it's good from Nick Katoy, and that is from 22 yards out. With 33 seconds to play, we will step aside, come back, have the final few moments of the first half from Memphis.
When you come to the University of Georgia, you could go here or here.
When you come to UGA, you could go here, here, or even here.
When you come to UGA, you can go here, here, or here.
Helping our students reach their destinations. The University of Georgia Honors Program proudly celebrates 50 years of academic excellence.
There are universities that have 100 years head start on us, but discoveries don't come from age. They come from innovation. At UCF, we play by new rules. We're pushing the limits. We're growing, inventing, and creating. Because fitting in is not standing out. 100 years head start, pretty impressive. But this is our time, and we're just getting started.
Central Florida ties it up at 3. It has been a struggle to move the football for both these teams, especially in the second quarter.
Yeah, and the reason why you kick the field goal there is, can you imagine the emotion that you feel after a tough first half? You get a turnover and you go down, you go for it on fourth down, you come away with no points and go into the half down 3-0. Hats off to the defense, but still, you got to take points in that situation.
UCF with 133 yards of offense. Georgia with 154 yards of offense. Georgia's production came in the first quarter. The Knights, their production has come here in the second 15 minutes. Katoy kicks it off. One hopper taken by Boykin. He's explosive in the return game as well. But UCF does a nice job bringing him down at the 26-yard line. Darren Baldwin with that special teams tackle, a return of 21. On New Year's Day, ESPN delivers the Rose Bowl game as Andy Dalton and a top-ranked defense leads undefeated TCU in their first Rose Bowl appearance. But can the Horned Frogs defense slow down one of the hottest teams in college football in Wisconsin's heralded backfield? The Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio on ESPN tomorrow. Coverage begins at 4:30 Eastern. The Rose Bowl is also available on ESPN Radio, online at ESPN3.com, and on your phone. 26 seconds left. Georgia with 2 timeouts. I'll hand it off to Rashawn Ely. Rashawn to the 35-yard line. See if Georgia will take a timeout, or will they just let the clock run here?
He's content just letting it run. If Rashawn Ely pops one, then all of a sudden you take the timeout and try to get something on the scoreboard. But here, just content to go in tied at 3 apiece.
Well, Georgia got off to a great start, drove it 96 yards, but had to settle for 3. Since then, George O'Leary's team kind of settled in defensively and contained this Bulldog offense. Time for us to check in with Kara, who has Coach Rick alongside.
Coach, we're tied heading into the locker room. A very evenly played first half. What's going to make the difference in the second half?
Well, right now, both teams have turned it over at least a couple times, and I would imagine the team that doesn't turn it over has the best chance of winning right now. The way we're playing, a lot of good field position football, but then the turnovers are giving up the field position, and our defenses are actually playing very well right now.
How would you assess Aaron Murray's play this first half?
Well, he's a little shaky right now. I mean, he's thrown a couple picks, which is not like him. But we got another 30 minutes to play, and we'll make sure he's settled down before we try anything fancy.
We'll watch for that. Thanks,
right,
Coach.
Thank you.
Dave, they're going to settle him down before we go to anything fancy.
I like that. 6 interceptions on the season for Aaron Murray coming into the game, but has 2 today. Time for us to send it to the studio. Mark May, Lou Holtz, Robert Flores for the H&R Block halftime report. We are back in Memphis, where the skies have gotten somewhat dark. Rain in the area. Hopefully it'll stay away from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, as we are Wrapping up halftime, Georgia and Central Florida tied at 3 moments away from third quarter action. Dave Neal back alongside Andre Ware. And Andre, we came in talking about the 2 young freshman quarterbacks. Give me your thoughts on them in the first half.
Well, that was inconsistent play. It's things that they usually don't do, like throw interceptions, bad decisions in the passing game. They did it in the first half of this football game. Very uncharacteristic of both Aaron Murray and Jeff Godfrey. But Aaron Murray had some good things. He made some plays with his legs, scrambling around, a couple of first downs, even in the passing game, on time, in rhythm, getting the football out and making plays. And then it was the interceptions that you just don't see from him. 2 is, as a matter of fact. Then Jeff Godfrey as well. Made some plays with his legs. Almost identical performances. Nice throw along the sideline late in the second quarter. And then right here, the ill-advised interception to Brandon Boykin. You just don't see him make mistakes like this. And here's the comparison. Thing that stands out, the 2 interceptions for both guys. I think that's exactly why we're tied at 3 apiece.
There's Aaron Murray standing alongside Mike Bobo.
We felt like these 2 teams were evenly matched, and they have certainly proved it for one half of football.
Georgia will get the football first. Brandon Boykin stands back as the ball falls off the tee. The wind has picked up. It was blowing pretty briskly when we started, around 15 to 20 miles an hour, and it might be a little bit more brisk than that as we speak.
A little cooler, I know that.
You got a problem with that?
No. Trust me, there are certain areas of the country that would love the weather we have right now.
Second trip into the Liberty Bowl for Central Florida. It is the 3rd appearance for the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia lost in 1967 to NC State. The quarterback for the Wolfpack that day, one Jim Donald. 16 out of 24, buck 21, and a touchdown for the coach. Here's Boykin. Looked like Georgia was trying to set up a reverse. Did not work. Brandon Smith looked like he was trying to come around Boykin and never was able to get the football and line him with a special teams tackle. Let's go check in with Kara. Has more on what the Knights intend to do here in the second half.
Well, guys, I asked Coach O'Leary for specifics on Godfrey's injury, and he would not reveal anything specific, but he did acknowledge that he was dinged up, and he said he was a little disappointed because Jeff Godfrey was playing like a freshman, which they're not used to seeing. The primary message, they cannot leave points on the field this second half.
Interception by Godfrey. This UCF was driving, perhaps the biggest blow for Central Florida. Here's A.J. Green with another catch today. A.J. 5 catches, picks up 9 more yards, give him 52 in the game. Look at our first half stats, and neither team really got it. Other than the one drive by Georgia, it just didn't seem like they were in much of a rhythm.
Yeah, hats off to Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator for Central Florida, though. You see the difference in time of possession, and that could lead to a number of scores, and they only gave up 3 points in the first half. So they played some bend but don't break type defense.
Murray throws it wide side of the field. First down, Georgia's A.J. Green just muscles his way for the first down and 4 more yards.
I love it. If it's within sportsmanship, little talk back and forth between guys, and A.J. Green kind of shows his strength to go with all the other physical traits that he has. And just get it to him and allow him to pick up the first down. Get it in his hands. Now he's one-on-one and unable to bring him down, Josh Robinson. And a little back and forth. It's okay. Within the realm of the football game, just don't let it get too out of hand.
There's Green in motion. Tall sweep goes the opposite side. Rashawn Ely nearly picked up a big gainer. Give him 8.
Nice block by Bruce Figgins working against Lawrence Young.
And that's Derek Hallman, who's down on the ground, their senior linebacker out of Fort Pierce, Florida, second on the team with 81 tackles. He made the stop on A.J. Green, and on the way down, he was in obvious pain.
They could ill afford to lose Derek Hallman, who is really a big-time performer for Central Florida defensively.
Capital Bowl 1 week continues New Year's Day on ESPNU as the Northwestern Wildcats and the Texas Tech Red Raiders face off for the first time in the inaugural Ticket City Bowl in Dallas. Can the Wildcats notch their first bowl win since 1949, or will Taylor Potts lead the Red Raiders to a bowl victory? The Ticket City Bowl on ESPNU tomorrow at noon Eastern. Well, that is a big loss if Hallman can't get back on the field. He had a career-high 17 total tackles against Houston earlier this year. He has forced 4 fumbles, which is 5th.
He had a sack coming into the season, and he's had one today on Aaron Murray, and hopefully they'll get him over-checked out. Maybe a new tape job. It looked like the ankle area.
And that was one of the questions coming in for Central Florida as they look to the future is who's going to replace him at that linebacker position. He's just been a stalwart there throughout his career.
4-year starter.
The second down and 2 coming up. That'll be a long 2, short 3 for the Dogs out of the I formation. They'll use Rashawn Ely, who powers his way for a couple. Met right there in the middle of the line by Josh Lynham, and he powers his way inside the 40. Stays on his feet to the 35-yard line. How about the effort from Rashawn Ely?
Well, and as well, the effort of the offensive line continuing to work. And as they started to unpile, you see a bunch of 60 and 70 numbers. Sturdivant, Glenn, Jones, and Bowling.
They're actually going to spot the ball back, Andre. They're going to say forward progress. Georgia coach is out on the sideline. You heard the whistle blow. They're going to look for a measurement.
I don't know that he ever stopped.
The player was ruled down by forward progress. First down.
Quick whistle in terms of forward progress.
But Georgia did get the first down, so Mark Rick can dial something up here on first down and 10.
It'll be time to go over the top to A.J. Green. It's right about the right position on the field. Clear something out and just let him try to make a play down the sideline here.
Out of the shotgun. Murray stays on his feet. Some nifty footwork. Avoids about a 10-yard loss. Ends up picking up 5. Victor Gray makes the tackle for the Knights.
Boy, for a young player, Aaron Murray certainly has a good feel for when things break down, and he doesn't do it too early. And you mentioned earlier in the game, he is a true student of the game. Took a computer home and watched a bunch of film over the Christmas holidays, calling coaches, kind of implementing some things he'd like to see in the game plan, always studying to get better.
Tight end Charles goes in motion. He throws. Pass caught. First down at the 47-yard line. Tavares King with another catch. Justin Body with his 8th tackle. It's a gain of 10.
Tavares really stepped his game up in the absence of A.J. Green earlier in the year. When teams try to take away A.J. Green, roll safeties over the top, he's usually the guy that's going to get the one-on-one coverage. And 23 receptions coming into the game. He's had a few today. He's really elevated his game.
Ely. Another first down. Give him 12. Bruce Miller with the tackle.
Nice block by Orson Charles, the sophomore tight end, which allowed the cutback. Right, you see Sturdivant cutting it down, Orson Charles on the outside, and allowed Rashawn Ely to cut back inside. And Dave, this is starting to resemble Georgia's first drive, the opening drive of the ball game for them, where they mixed. They're running the pass nicely and went down and put 3 points up.
Just a couple of field goals. Blair Walsh scored for Georgia, 20-yard field goal. Ely gets a couple on the carry. This Georgia offense, the fact that UCF has held them to 3 points is pretty amazing considering Georgia's offensive numbers coming in. Remember, the last five SEC games they played, Georgia scored over 30 points. Last 7 games overall, over 30 points. Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, has done a nice job kind of molding this group together down the stretch. They've never done that in the history of their school, that many games with 30 points or more in a row.
Yeah.
Bruce Figgins with the reception. He's inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. That's a gain of 8, and that's another first down.
Yeah, and Mike Bobo, I think, just calling an excellent game right now. And you want to get your quarterback settled in, Aaron Murray. And he's been down on the sideline where he can talk to Aaron Murray when he comes off the field, settle him down. What do you feel comfortable running? And he's executing well, getting the football out quicker. The quick game being a kind of a staple for them early here in the second half.
Approaching 10 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Georgia looking at a fresh set of downs. Out of the shotgun is Murray. Should have been picked off. Kamal Ismail nearly had it right in the hands.
He's an all-conference player in Conference USA first team and was really set to go to Western Michigan, but changed his mind at the last moment. You see the rotation of the safety in the middle of the field, and then a nice break on the football. A lot of guys get caught backpedaling, can't react, but he saw it, read it, and then broke on the football. I wish he had that one back.
First team, All-Conference USA, leads the team in tackles, has a couple of picks. Rocker had his third. There's Ely. Not much happening on the right side. That'll bring up a third down and about 8.
Which is exactly where Dave Huxtable wants this Georgia football team, because now you have the advantage defensively. You can choose to bring pressure or sit back and keep things in front of you, make a for sure tackle, and force a field goal attempt here. But remember, he dialed it up with Derek Hallman. He's on the sideline right now. Earlier in the game, he had the sack on Aaron Murray.
Georgia 3 out of 6 on third downs. Murray throws high, looking for Marlon Brown. It's incomplete. That'll force a fourth down, and here comes the Georgia kick team. Justin Body with the coverage.
Yeah, once again, bend but don't break, and they get nice pressure with Bruce Miller and just a 4-man rush. You see it right there. Just 4 defenders or defensive linemen coming at Aaron Murray. A nice play by Justin Bowdy on the other side to knock the football away from Marlon Brown.
From the near hash, 41-yard kick on the way. And Blair Walsh does what he does, and that is make field goals. He is now 55 out of 68 in his career. Amazing numbers for the junior kicker out of Boca Raton, Florida. The Bulldogs go 13 plays, 61 yards, just over 5.5 minutes. The result, another field goal, and they lead by 3 here in the third quarter. Dave Neal, Andre Ware, and Kara Capuano for Georgia. Their 14th straight bowl game. Almost didn't get here. Had to beat Georgia Tech to do so. Meanwhile, Central Florida looking for their first bowl win in 4 appearances. One of those was in this AutoZone Liberty Bowl just a few years back.
Yeah, if you're Central Florida, you don't want to panic. If you're Jeff Godfrey and try to go down and do too much to get back in the game with a field goal or maybe take the lead with a touchdown, got himself in trouble trying to do that earlier in the football game. Just take what's in front of you.
With the kick. At the 7-yard line goes Jamar Newsom. Hit and dropped around the 23-yard line. A return of 16 yards. We mentioned the last time Central Florida played here was back in 2007 when the Knights ran into the tough defense of Mississippi State, which turned out to be the lowest scoring Liberty Bowl in '79. The Bulldogs' Derek Pegues picked off a couple of passes and was awarded the game's MVP. Anthony Dixon scored the only TD of the game, giving Mississippi State the trophy, and a milestone win for a program who had not won a bowl game since the 2000 Independence Bowl. Some might remember that snowstorm that was back in 2000, but the Bulldogs beat the Knights 10-3. We might be headed down to the lowest scoring game since 79.
Battle of field goals here.
Newsom trying to turn the corner. We'll get it out to the 30, gain of about 8. Now, let me ask you about this UCF offense and what they need to do to kind of get in a rhythm, get their quarterback going a little bit.
Well, first you figure out what gets that guy comfortable. If it's a little swing pass, he's also a runner. Sometimes it takes a run or good throw, a couple of runs in a row for a quarterback like Jeff Godfrey, and that settles him in. But I never really thought in the first half of this game he got settled in, and it could have been something to do with the hit he took from Avery Jones, because he kind of limped around there most of the first half.
Line up in the pistol formation. That handoff will go to Latavius Murray. Murray to the 40, the 45, the 47-yard line. Give him a gain of 18 and a Knight first down near midfield. Christian Robinson and Akeem Dent finally chased down the sophomore, who was putting on another good show after being a Conference USA Championship game MVP.
Yeah, you can have success if you have a big running back who has no wasted movement and gets himself north and south, sees it, hits it, squares the shoulders up, and gets downhill. That's the type of runner that Latavius Murray is. Straight ahead, hit it going full speed.
State of New York Player of the Year in high school back in 2007. Here's a little option game near side. Not much happening for Jamar Newsom. Good coverage by the Dogs defensively.
You got to turn around and tell Latavius Murray. Tells me he's tired.
Just keep feeding the monster, right?
Keep giving him the football.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you.
Then I give him a break, bring him over, give him some water, and put him right back in there.
Best drive of the game was when they were feeding Murray before an interception in the end zone.
Well, what it does as well is it gets the offensive line. You tell them, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. 5 big guys up front. They love hearing that.
The Knights looking at a second down and 10 yards. They set up a little split screen to Kamar Aiken, and Aiken will lose 3, maybe 4 yards. Alec Ogletree steps up from his safety position, the true freshman out of Noonan, Georgia, who has been starting the last 4 games. Coaches think the future is sky high for that young man.
Yeah, one of the things when you watch Georgia play defense that's really attractive on film is the speed. When they went to the 3-4, they got faster with the linebackers, and then they inserted Alec Ogletree into the lineup, Bakari Rambo, and they can change directions as a defense and still make plays. So you think an aggressive defense coming up the field, screens would be good, except they redirect themselves and make plays.
There's Todd Grantham, who brought the 3-4, but told us he actually played the 4-3 structure about 40% of the time.
Yeah, he'll drop Justin Houston down.
This is the first charge timeout of the second half for UCF.
And allow him to become a rusher off the edge, and 10 sacks to his credit. Says that they're having some success doing so.
Part of the bowl week activities include a trip to one of the most famous hospitals that does so much for children, St. Jude's. We'll have that story when we come back. It's the 52nd edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
ESPN College Football, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, is brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone. AutoZone. The Lexus December to Remember sales event, now for a limited time at your Lexus dealer. And the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet?
Part of the festivities of the week are the fact that both teams have a chance to go to St. Jude Hospital and spend some time with the young children trying to get better. Hospital started by the great entertainer Danny Thomas, and A.J. Green, one of the children that was in the hospital, had always wanted to meet A.J. Green. Well, he happened to be at St. Jude. He lives in Georgia, but was here for treatment and had a chance. Flags down as Godfrey goes up top, incomplete. But that young child, his own, for the longest time, all he wanted to do was meet A.J. Green. Well, he happened to be in Memphis at St. Jude Hospital, and guess what? A.J. Green was in town for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and that young man had a chance to meet A.J. Green. I had a chance to talk to Coach Rick yesterday about it, and he said it just was amazing. It was a great experience, and both coaches said their players really came away with a better understanding of what some of those young people are going through, trying to get better.
Number 550 of the defense, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Well, I think players really underestimate the effect with just spending a little time away from the field with kids and doing your kind of your duty. And I'm sure the young man is just unbelievably happy just having a chance to meet his hero in A.J. Green.
Third down and 8 right now for the Knights near midfield. Here comes some pressure. Houston chasing Godfrey, gets the pass away, it's incomplete. Godfrey now 10 of 19 throwing the football for 73 yards.
Yeah, that's one where Kamar Aiken's got to help him out. I'm back here fighting and scratching. I got defenders coming at me, they're blitzing me to death, and I throw you one that hits your hands. You got to come up with that one, big fella. I know it's a tough catch, but it's a tough job back here playing quarterback as well.
Blake Klingon will punt it away for UCF. A.J. Green back to return the punt. Fair catch call for. He will take it at the 10-yard line. 40-yard kick and no return. 6:04 to go in the third quarter. The Dogs with the football. They're up 3. Aaron Murray back on the field when we return. 6-3 our score in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Georgia with the football, up 3 points on Central Florida Knights. As you look at Ronnie Weaver, man who has 4 100-yard rushing games this year for UCF. Looks like he might be done. For more on that, let's go check in with Kara.
Well, guys, they had to remove his shoulder pads because he was wincing in agony. Right shoulder injury for Weaver. Meantime, linebacker Derek Hallman taken to the locker room for x-rays on his right ankle. So some real trouble right now for the UCF training staff. They are busy.
Thanks. Physical football game. Anytime you face a team from the SEC, it's going to be that type of matchup, physical.
Carlton Thomas in at tailback. They'll play fake to him. Murray will try to run it out of there. He'll get to the 17, give him 7 yards. Interesting note, Andre, you and I were just talking a little bit. These are kind of big play offenses, and neither team has had a chance to have a big play today.
Well, you have A.J. Green on one side. Tavares King certainly capable of making big plays down the field. When we talked to Dave Huxtable, he said, hey, we want to stop the run. They've done a pretty good job of keeping that in check. Don't give up the deep ball to those receivers that I mentioned. Throw Chris Durham in there as well. They've had one play, a one throw and catch to A.J. Green. That went for 18 yards. 20-plus yards would be considered an explosive play, and they've limited them in that regard. And that's why we sit at 6-3.
One more note on that after this play as A.J. Green goes in motion. I'll hand it off to Thomas. He'll get a yard, maybe 2. But Central Florida's biggest gain of the day, also 18 yards, a carry by Latavius Murray. This is the team, Central Florida, that came in with 58 explosive plays. As you said, that's plays 20 yards or more. They haven't had one all afternoon here at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, offensively, Central Florida, they wanted to utilize the quick game, get the football out quick, and play assignment football with the zone read. They felt like they could kind of get Georgia off balance there and hold up in pass protection. 2 of the 3 they've been able to do. The third one has been iffy at best.
Third down. We'll call it 4. Murray trying to pick it up himself. Lost the football. Georgia has it near the 20-yard line. Cordy Glenn, the left guard, a junior out of Riverdale, Georgia, comes up with the fumble recovery.
And that's a teaching point right there for any young offensive lineman, that you don't try to pick it up and run it. You see the football come out, quarterback's had it stripped, jump on the football. A lot of guys would give that up or get stripped again. All of a sudden, it's your opponent's football. You just dive on it, recover it, cradle that baby, and line up to fight another down. Great job by Cordy Glenn.
Drew Butler to punt it away. He stands at the 5. Not a good kick. That sails out of bounds. That almost hit Coach O'Leary around midfield. We'll see where they wind up marking it at the 49-yard line. Just a 32-yard punt from the All-American. And now UCF has excellent field position, down just a field goal. New Year's night, ESPN delivers the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl as Jordan Todman and the Connecticut Huskies make their first appearance at a BCS bowl game. They take on the Oklahoma Sooners, led by Landry Jones and one of the most explosive offenses in college football. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl on ESPN tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern. The game also available on ESPN Radio, ESPN 3D, ESPN3.com, and on your phone.
The question there is if Connecticut has enough speed to stay with the Sooners.
Here's Murray, gets the handoff to the Georgia 46-yard line, a gain of 5. You know, they're going to have to rely on Jordan Todman, UConn, tomorrow if they're going to have any success. They're going to have to control the football as long as they possibly can.
Time of possession, you can't turn it over, and you can't allow the big plays to the Sooners that they're known for making. You know, if I'm George O'Leary or Charlie Taft, got the football back, got to assess some things. What's worked offensively? And then maybe kind of start to scissor away at the playbook, go to what's working.
Nothing on that play. Cornelius Washington wraps up Latavius Murray.
Another good, young, outside linebacker. Missed some time this season with a concussion. Cornelius Washington of Georgia. He's back playing some solid football. Big guy, 6'4". Had him listed at 210, but looked like his guns weigh 210.
Andre, UCF came in converting 52% of their third down conversions. Tonight, 1 out of 5.
Hard way to play a football game.
Godfrey, pass complete. They'll say incomplete, skipped off the turf, looking for Brian Waters. Waters needs to come up with that catch, I think. Help the quarterback out.
A big throwing lane there. It should have been an easy completion to Brian Waters, and was unable to hold on to it. See right here from the eyes of Jeff Godfrey, and they put a few early in the game. Jamar Newsom put one on the ground.
He's got to make that catch.
Yeah, Kamar Aiken put one on the ground. You got to make some plays.
Lingen punts it away. A.J. Green again, fair catch at the 10. About the same spot he made his last fair catch. 36-yard punt. Nice job by Blake. Georgia also has been in this bowl game a couple of times. 1-1, lost to NC State back in '67. And then in 1987, John Casey with a game winner as Georgia beat Arkansas 20-17 on a last-second field goal. John Casey looks so young back then. You know, he's been kicking in the NFL for 20 years.
Yeah, it dates him, too, because he's wearing Nike Tempo.
Yeah.
I know that shoe.
I think he could buy a lot of those Nike Tempos if he so chooses after 20 years in the National Football League.
Good shoe, man. Good shoe.
Here's Georgia at the 11-yard line. Aaron Murray. Nowhere to go. Good coverage, nice pressure. Just a good defensive set right there from the Knights.
He gets chased out of bounds by Troy Davis. He rotates in with Darius Nall and the team's nickel package. Good football player in his own right. They've got some really good defensive ends behind. Even with Bruce Miller and David Williams, 2 seniors. You got Troy Davis, Darius Nall. Guys that will step right in next year. Don't know if you can replace two-time defensive player of the conference and Bruce Miller though.
Murray, wide side throw, looking for Green. Got it. How about that throw, Andre? Come on.
How about the catch as well? And that it is an impressive throw because it's from one hash all the way across the field. But he doesn't give it away. A.J. Green does not give it away when the football arrives. One-on-one with Josh Robinson. And right there, watch the hands. At the last second, I'm going to put him up. The right here. That is a nice throw outside, away from the defender, and you know that you've got a guy with some great hands out there to grab it for you.
A.J. Green today, 7 catches, 63 yards. Here's Rashawn Ely trying to cut it back inside. Maybe a yard for Rashawn. Rashawn now, he's carried it 15 times, 60 yards.
We'll watch A.J. Green. You and I, there's a lot of NFL stuff. I don't see a lot of receivers that possess the type of athletic ability that A.J. Green has. He's doing some things. Like that simple catch, not putting your hands up to the last second, doesn't allow a defender to break on the football. You don't know when it's coming.
Blitz coming. Aaron Murray swarmed by the Knights. Give him a couple. Victor Gray finally brings him down, leading the charge. The defensive tackle, a redshirt freshman out of Orlando, Florida. Impressed with this UCF defense today. They have done a nice job containing Georgia for the most part. They've settled into this one after that long opening drive and held the Dogs to just 6 points on 2 field goals.
Yeah, and once again, 3rd down and long, if they're able to get off the field, going to have some pretty good field position to start their next drive.
Well, that'll do it for the 3rd quarter here in Memphis. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Back with the 4th quarter in a moment. Time to check out our nationwide insurance game track. And, well, with the quarterbacks, we talked about them coming in. Aaron Murray and Jeff Godfrey were 8 and 9 in the country in passing efficiency. But today, the defenses have kind of caused them some problems. A.J. Green, though, 7 catches, 63 yards, averaging 9 yards a catch, well below his seasonal average per catch. Your thoughts about the first 3 quarters, and as we approach the final 15, what's going to shake free here?
Well, some up and down moments certainly for both quarterbacks, but I think if you're Central Florida, you want to get Jeff Godfrey settled in, maybe simplify some things, go to what you've done well in this football game so that he can execute the offense. And Aaron Murray, I'm trying to get the football to A.J. Green a little bit more, maybe create some explosive plays and push the ball down the field.
Yeah, maybe give A.J. a reverse or something along those lines, get him the football, but UCF has contained him quite well. 3rd down, and we'll call it 8. Murray going up top, looking near side for King, had the football, but out of bounds. Justin Body on the coverage, just man on man down that near sideline, and Body won that battle.
Well, as a cornerback, you got to know where your help is. When you're in one-on-one situations on the outside, your help is the sideline. Watch the body position of Justin Body right here along the sideline, start to make the receiver, Tavares King, move away, and right there, run out of real estate. Excellent job of turning his head around and using the sideline for help.
Butler changed his last one. This ball will hit it to 38 and fielded on 1 hop by Josh Robinson. Georgia there to bring it down at the 35-yard line. Mike Bobo said of this UCF defense, they're sound fundamentally. They always hustle to the football, and they give up very few big plays. All 3 of those things have come to fruition here in the Liberty Bowl. Well, Capital One Bowl week continues on ESPN tonight as Steve Spurrier will again try to best the Seminoles as the South Carolina Gamecocks take on Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Capital One Bowl week on ESPN tonight at 7:30 Eastern. All 3 games are also available online at ESPN3.com and on your phone. First down and 10 for UCF. Godfrey carrying the football, 5 for 12 yards today. We'll throw it here. Steps up in the pocket. Looking near side. Right through the hands of Jamar Newsom. Coverage came from Bakari Rambo. It's incomplete. A lot of bowl games last few days. We'll take a look at our Bowl Challenge Cup, our standings. Of course, the SEC just basically getting underway yesterday, and Tennessee losing to North Carolina, but the Big Ten already 2-0. Sun Belt, nice start there, 2-0. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Central Florida trying to get Conference USA turned around, 1-4 in bowl games this year. Get things straightened out.
4 Big Ten SEC matchups tomorrow. Here's Godfrey. Working the right side. He'll pick up the first down at the 46-yard line, a gain of 11. I know he's been bothered by some kind of ankle leg injury, Andre, but that's the first time we've really seen him explode.
Yeah, it looked like the wheels were working there. You talked about that Chick-fil-A Bowl, and I was a part of the Chick-fil-A Bowl Challenge this summer in the golf tournament. And Steve Spurrier and he was a defending champion. Jimbo Fisher and Terrell Buckley actually won the golf tournament this summer. So it's kind of ironic that you get the revenge factor in there, take it from the golf course back to the football field. Had a lot of fun with that this summer.
The game was stopped because there was a malfunction of the pager. There is no review. First down.
It was Steve Spurrier and Sterling Sharp who were the defending champs and were unseated this summer by Jimbo Fisher and Terrell Buckley. Really exciting golf tournament. A lot of fun.
My buddy John Barry of ESPN basketball fan.
He was in there with Paul Johnson.
Terrell Buckley got a few extra shots he didn't deserve. I think Coach Spurrier had the same comment.
Had the handicap.
Nice out throw. That's close to the first down, about a yard shy at the 46-yard line. A gain of 9 for Brian Waters. Coverage from Brandon Smith.
Brian Waters, mentioned it earlier, he's the team's most consistent wide receiver, really understands coverages. When it's man-to-man, to keep it going through, as well as sitting down in zone coverage. Was honorable mention All-Conference USA this season.
UFC got a nice little drive going here. Second down and short. Of course, playbook wide open on these type of down and distance situations. They'll give it to Murray. First down. Hit at the 41-yard line. Kari Rambo comes in to make the tackle along with Justin Houston.
Why not give it to Latavius Murray? I mean, all he's done is kind of put his hard hat on and gone to work against the tough, physical Georgia football team, and he's met the challenge. Big guy, and he's holding up well.
At 20 carries, 94 yards versus SMU in the Conference USA Championship. Honored him the game MVP.
Well, he's proven that when the game's on the line, just give it to me.
Godfrey will swing it near side. Pass is caught by Brian Waters. He's out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Give him a gain of 6, maybe 7. Sanders Cummings pushes him out of bounds.
Well, when you need something to happen, Dave, you're under center, you're Jeff Godfrey, and you need to have plays happen. Go to your playmakers. Latavius Murray in the running game. Brian Waters, as we mentioned, the team's most consistent wide receiver. Maybe even Jamar Newsom. You get him worked in there as well, and now you can start to hit this defense of Georgia from a lot of different angles.
Second down and a long 3 for the Knights. And some movement up front, right guard.
Boy, and that's the situation you want to be in. 2nd and 2, the previous second down, and then their 2nd and 3. You could take a shot over the top without worrying about enough downs to pick up the first.
Game against the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Yeah, and those are the penalties that drive a coach like George O'Leary crazy. It's the ones that occur before the ball is snapped. Motion penalties and things of that sort. Delay of game penalties. You can live with the holding. The effort penalties once the ball snapped, those are just uncalled for.
To the far side, Jamar Newsom inside the 35 to the 34. That's a gain of 5. Akeem Dent with the tackle.
Well, it must have hurt us when they go to Newsom and Brian Waters the previous play and start to stretch things out and move the football around. And now defensively, You can't identify one guy that's making plays when there are three guys that are touching the football and advancing it on the down and distance mark.
UCF has won 8 of their last 9 games and 3 in a row, including a conference championship. Trail the Bulldogs by 3 at this moment on 3rd down and 3. Godfrey on the run. Pass is caught, first down, Brian Waters. He is their 3rd down guy and once again comes up big.
Boy, great call by Charlie Taft, the offensive coordinator, getting Jeff Godfrey out on the edge where it's a run-pass option. First color, which is yours, give it to him. And it's Brian Waters moving the chains for Central Florida. Well, I thought that was an excellent call because you put the football in Jeff Godfrey's hands with the ability to either run it or give it to Waters throwing the football.
First down at 10, ball on the 26-yard line. Murray met at the line of scrimmage, nowhere to run. Avery Jones with another tackle for the Bulldogs. This Georgia defense, who's been a growing process under Todd Grantham, who told us in our meetings it took some hits early on, but felt like this group kind of really got comfortable playing kind of carefree football down the stretch.
Yeah, they had found themselves in a fist fight right here.
Oh, yes. 6-3, looking for our first touchdown. Godfrey, wide side throw, pass caught. Newsome, who's pushed backwards. They will see where they spot this. Boykin on the coverage, and they will actually spot it close to the 20.
Charlie Taft talked about the quick game, having to be effective in the quick game, and to start to see Jeff Godfrey catch the football, get it out fast. And it doesn't allow for the pressure of Georgia to get to him, yet his receivers are making plays and making positive yards after the catch. And so you're kind of keeping the defense off balance here.
10th play of the drive coming up. Crucial 3rd down and 4 for UCF. And the Knights want a timeout.
Yeah, and that's one where I'm okay taking the timeout because it's such an important down. On 3rd down, you're driving to take the lead in the football game.
The Knights trying to at least tie it up on this drive. Back in a moment. Big 3rd down coming up for Central Florida. 3rd down and 4. They trail by 3. Ball sits at the 20-yard line. UCF just 2 of 7 on 3rd down conversions today. They came in 52% on the season. Run pass option, Andre?
I would go back to it certainly because Godfrey could pick it up with his legs. It's not that long of a situation here.
Here comes some heat from the Dogs. Godfrey over the middle. Pass is caught at the 12-yard line by who else but Brian Waters, their 3rd down expert. Alec Ogletree on the coverage.
Well, Todd Grantham dials up the pressure, and Jeff Godfrey just stared down the barrel of it and delivered a strike to Brian Waters. Sometimes as a quarterback, you got to sit in there knowing I'm going to take a shot. But he gets the football out even before the defender gets to him. Boy, that's working the pocket right there. That's performing at quarterback in a pressure situation for your football team.
1st down and goal from the 10. Here's Murray to the 5. Give him 6. For Murray, that's his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, and it gives UCF the 3-point lead, awaiting the point after. The Toys extra point is good. The Central Florida Knights ranked in the top 25 this year for the first time in the history of the program. Take a 4-point lead. Back in a moment.
ESPN College Football, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, is brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone. AutoZone. FedEx, we understand. You need reliable shipping solutions. FedEx. And Discover. It pays to discover. Official card of the Bowl Championship Series.
All week, the Central Florida players discussed the importance of this game for their program. They called it their Super Bowl. It could be the biggest win in the program's history as they try to forge a path, albeit a fresh path. A team that didn't jump up to the FBS Division I football until the late 90s. 96 was their first year playing with the big boys, and right now they're ranked in the top 25 and giving the Georgia Bulldogs all they can handle. The Toys kick, a short one, taken by Boykin. Brandon Boykin still on his feet and goes backwards at the 25-yard line, a gain of 12. Let's take a look at our Farmers Insurance breakdown. Andre?
Yeah, a couple of factors. The motion by Brian Waters, it's going to help out as well, but not before the block by Jordan Ray, the center, turning out on DeMarcus Dobbs. Then Theo Goins comes in. He kicks out. It's going to create a nice running lane for Latavius Murray right here. Stop it. You see it right here. There's the natural lane because of the blocks of the offensive line, but the motion gives him the option to go outside if he wanted it as well. Well-executed play by Central Florida.
All right, let's see what Georgia has in store. Football with 8:53 to play in the contest. Murray stands in the pocket. Looking for Chris Durham, a little bit low. By the way, if you're looking for numbers from Aaron Murray, he is now 18 out of 27, couple of picks, $152, no pass over 18 yards.
We talked about that touchdown run, the block by Jordan Ray. He's a first-year starter at center who at this time last year was on the defensive line. And you talk about some responsibility and learning on the job and fast, because he makes all the calls up front. Heck of a job.
Out of the I formation on 2nd down and 10. Murray back over the middle, dropped by the fullback Munzenmeyer. Now it's 3rd down and 10.
Now we say dealer's choice for Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator of Central Florida. 3rd down and 10. I can bring pressure against Aaron Murray, force him to make a quick decision and get the football out, or play zone coverage, rush 4, and tackle what's in front of me.
What do? You going to bring the heat or what?
I'm coming with the heat.
Yeah, hey, now you're talking my language.
They've done a pretty good job of buttoning up A.J. Green. I got to try to get there and force a freshman to make a mistake. They're showing it, but it looks like they'll back out.
Incomplete. They were looking for A.J. Green down the middle. Hit off his hand, Lawrence Young on the coverage. And here comes the Georgia punt team.
They show 2 linebackers in the A-gap right over the center. And one comes, the other drops off. The guy that dropped squeezed the window in which they wanted to throw the football into A.J. Green. It was an errant throw and forcing a punt. Now Central Florida can really take control of this game, Dave, with 8 minutes, 39 seconds left.
3rd straight punt coming up for the Dogs here in the second half. This is a good kick by Butler. Josh Robinson will field it. He is met immediately at the 35-yard line, so decent field position for the Knights. 42-yard punt. Crunch time here in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Georgia's trailing by 4. Be the champion of the 52nd edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl is yet to be determined. We have 8.5 minutes to go. Georgia trailing Central Florida 10-6. And the Knights have the football, 1st down and 10 from their own 35. Here's Godfrey trying to work that left side. He'll get a couple of yards on the play.
I don't know about you, but when I hear that, like a champion, I can't stop. It just gets stuck in my head. It takes a while for it to go away. I love it. Gets me fired up.
You're looking at one of the guys right there, Justin Houston, who's probably going to have to make a decision after this game on what he wants to do. He has had a couple of sensational seasons. And this year, he's been nothing short of fantastic for the Bulldogs at that outside linebacker position.
Todd Grantham told me 17, 18 teams in the NFL play the 3-4, and he is ideal for that system as an outside linebacker.
Oh, nearly picked off right through the hands of Sanders Cummings. That'll bring up third down.
Well, I think at this point in the game, you can't get protected. You're only up 10-6. You kind of have to stay with the offensive game plan and what got you here.
You see what Central Florida has done against other teams when you compare their records. They were the top school by record in the state of Florida this year. Good work from George O'Leary and company. That is incomplete, out of bounds, and the Georgia defense stands up. Pressure came from Justin Houston, the man we've been talking about. He came into this game with 42 quarterback hurries to lead this team by a ton.
Well, it's called a team for a reason, and Jeff Godfrey, I thought, made a wise decision just getting rid of the football. They played well defensively. You punt and you play defense. You don't try to force it into coverage and make a play. Throw the football away and live to fight another day.
Troy punts it away, and it takes a UCF bounce down to around the 30-yard line, the 31-yard line. 31-yard punt. 7:20 to play, and the Georgia offense coming back on the field down by 4. But a great year for UCF. So many things positive for that university. For more on the direction of this program and the school, let's go down to Kara.
Well, guys, when we talked to head coach George O'Leary, he told us he thinks when the geography changes, they're going to be on the list of a lot of people. And he's talking about maybe making a conference change. Great facilities, enthusiastic fans, 19th largest TV market, and now 2 top 25 teams in football and men's basketball.
56,000 students, second largest in the country. Flag down in the middle of the field as Rashawn Ely gets it out over the 40. But there is a flag right in the middle of that line of scrimmage.
Illegal chop block, number 77 of the offense. Penalties 15 yards from the previous spot. Remains first down.
That's Trenton Sturdivant, the junior left tackle. One guy's engaged. He goes down low. And that's right there, number 77, engaged with Cordy Glenn, and then he chops down.
I mean, those, I hate to see those. Those are, how many guys' knees?
Could end up ugly, yeah.
First and 25 for the Dogs. We go under 7 minutes to play. A lot of green turf in front of Aaron Murray and company. Ely gets it back to the line of scrimmage, and lucky to do so. Bruce Miller came flying in. The senior out of Canton, Georgia, nearly had a big tackle for loss.
Well, he nearly took the handoff from Aaron Murray. He was back there so fast, and then he was there so fast he missed initially on Rashawn Ely. Right there. Then the wherewithal to stay with the play, redirect himself, and still makes the tackle. Boy, that is film study right there. You're reading it out. You know exactly where the run's coming.
34 career sacks for that man. That's 5th all time in the FBS. Give him one more. Make that 35 career sacks.
Well, guys say now big-time players make big-time plays. At certain points in a game, Bruce Miller coming alive. Hadn't called his name much in this football game, but certainly on the last 2 plays, Conference USA 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, starting to show up for Central Florida.
It's his 8th sack of the season.
Oh, you see that helmet shaking his head. Give me some more. Feed me again.
3rd and 32. Murray just airing it out, hoping Green can make a play. And Green got hit from behind.
Yeah, I thought he may get a flag thrown there, but the officials don't throw it. He was clearly already out of bounds, and you know what? You got to credit Josh Robinson, who has lined up and followed A.J. Green around all day long and has held his own. Nice play, and Darren Baldwin coming in a little bit late. Officials elect not to throw the flag.
Off a hop, Josh Robinson, risky play, able to hold on to it at the 41, a 50-yard punt. But UCF, 5 minutes and 16 seconds. Is this A.J. Green's last game in a Georgia uniform? Who knows? Back in a moment. Georgia Bulldogs trailing the Central Florida Knights 10-6, 5:16 left to play here in the 52nd edition of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Let's take a look at our H&R Block Never Settle play. Andre?
Yeah, it's a run by Latavius Murray. Not settling, not stopping at the line of scrimmage, shoulder squared, getting himself into the end zone. Couple of nice blocks up front. Theo Goins and Jordan Ray. They didn't settle.
Latavius Murray today rushing the football. 16 rushes, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Murray lines up to the left of Godfrey. In motion to the near side comes Kamar Aiken. Some movement for Georgia. Flag down, free play. Godfrey will pick up 5, maybe 6. Couple of flags down.
They're going to be an offsides penalty against the Bulldogs. DeMarcus Dobbs. That's the second time Jeff Godfrey's gotten him with the snap count. Young freshman using the snap count to his advantage.
Saw Mark Rick.
Yeah.
Offside. Defense. Number 58. Penalty will be 5 yards from the previous spot. Remains first down.
Yeah, the freshman controlling the senior, DeMarcus Dobbs, and you saw that move by Mark Rick. Be smart. Watch the football. But Jeff Godfrey barking signals, getting them to jump, picking up the free 5. Boy, when you have a youngster like that knows how to effectively use the snap count, that could be a weapon, especially late in a football game.
1st and 5 now. Clock at 4:50 to go. UCF looking for their first bowl win. Here's Godfrey coming near side. Gets it to the 48. Will be a couple of yards shy of that first down. You know, Andre, this is the 4th year, actually the 5th year that this Conference USA champ has met the SEC in this bowl game. And the 4 previous contests, I mean, these have been good
Close games, yeah.
No game has been more than 8 points.
When you talk about a champion facing off against an SEC opponent, they've got a chip. Because the SEC's regarded as the best conference in college football. Tough to win football games against that conference. And played them tooth and nail, and here we are again in another one.
The SEC has been 4-0 in those games against Conference USA. Knights trying to end that streak here. Here's Murray, first down to the Georgia 43-yard line. Nice move to cut it back inside and pick up 8 and the first down.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch Central Florida this spring because Bryn Harvey, who went over 1,100 yards last year, he'll be back. Now you have Latavius Murray with runs like this, putting his foot in the ground, getting north and south, cover the football up. Ronnie Weaver's a junior. Jonathan Davis, I mean, they're loaded at running back next season for George O'Leary.
Murray missed last year with a bad knee, but as you can see, at 100% and causing some panic and concern for some of these Georgia folks who made the trip to Memphis. 3:30 to go. Here's Murray again. And he now eclipses the century mark in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, his career high. He went for 146 against Tulane.
Well, the best thing about that run was?
Stayed in bounds.
Stayed in bounds. Smart player, knowing where you are on the field, what's taking place and what needs to be done.
Georgia will take a timeout with 3:22 to play. Well, January 1st marks the official start of YQB, and it will be toasted in with a live show from San Diego to kick off the year. The show will include a look back to the best moments in the quarterback position in 2010 and also look ahead to 2011. Don't miss the sneak peek of the Tim Tebow documentary, which follows his path from one of the most decorated and popular players in college football history to proving he can be a successful quarterback in the NFL. Also catch live interviews with current NFL quarterbacks to hear their thoughts on how the position has evolved in 2010, as well as a feature from the acclaimed sports science team to give new perspective on the position. Tonight, it's Countdown to the Year of the Quarterback, followed by an encore presentation of the Year of the Quarterback kickoff special on ESPN beginning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time tonight.
Tim Tebow is going to be fine in the NFL. I've watched firsthand, up close and personal in Denver, watched him lead a comeback against the Houston Texans single-handedly, throwing the football and running.
That's what Godfrey can do here. He will keep it this time, trying to get the corner. Won't do it. Bakari Rambo chases him down. Did he get him out of bounds? He did. The clock will stop at 3:16, a loss of 2 on the play.
Trying to run the play because it's one of those slow developing plays where you start the counter one way or you start one way and then counter it by coming the other. Pull a couple of guys around. Ricky Kay, the H-back, out in front blocking as well, but you gotta slide. Get yourself down in bounds.
Georgia will take a timeout, and the clock looked like it had stopped because Godfrey was out of bounds. But Georgia's still going to burn a timeout.
Yeah, I'm kind of scratching my head there and wondering as well. Maybe he didn't come down out of bounds, and they decided to go ahead and try to stop the clock, use some of those timeouts that they have. One left for each team. Time becoming the enemy of the Georgia Bulldogs. Big down here, though, for Central Florida. Why is it big? Because if you convert on third down, you keep the ball away from Georgia, force them to take another timeout, and then you can really start to bleed the clock. Get this baby over with.
3rd and 7. Godfrey cuts it back and drops at the 45-yard line. So Georgia will have a chance to get the football back. A loss of 4 on the play. Christian Robinson hanging in there to make the play along with Avery Jones.
Well, they go zero blitz. No safeties back. Bringing pressure. They lock up man-to-man. And they hold up doing so. So job well done by Todd Grantham. Right there, the defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs. Going to get the offense another shot at it.
And your All-American stands at the 10. A.J. Green to return the punt. Katoy stands at the 40. Good high kick. Fair catch call for. Green gets out of the way, and it bounces into the end zone. Just over the head of Jamar Newsome.
Boy, I thought that one was going to come down. Newsome would have a chance. Just mistimed it right there. The stutter step. He catches it. 1-2 go up. He might have a shot at getting a hand on it. The stutter step killed him.
All right, so here's the situation. 2:20 to play in the game. Georgia's down 4. They have 1 timeout left. Aaron Murray, 18 of 30, a couple of interceptions, 152 yards, and really since the first quarter, he has not done a whole lot.
Eternity. Clock's gonna stop at every first down. Got the timeout as well. This is where you earn your stripes if you're Aaron Murray.
4-man rush. Murray stands tall in the pocket, throws it short. Pass caught by Tavares King. Only 2 yards on that catch. Justin Body with the tackle for the Knights.
Now, you don't want to run around changing formations. Guys come right back to set where they were the previous play. 2 plays called in the huddle.
Long throw, incomplete. A.J. Green on the far side couldn't handle it. Josh Robinson on the coverage, and Josh has done a pretty good job containing number 8.
He's done a heck of a job because there are a couple of passes that right there A.J. should have caught the football. 7 receptions for 63 yards, but as I was about to mention, a couple of passes behind the line of scrimmage, little quick swing passes to A.J. Green just to get the ball. You can't control those if you're Josh Robinson, but when it's been a play down the field, more times than not, Josh Robinson has been there to make the play defensively.
Georgia 3 of 11 on third downs. It is 3rd and 8. Murray tackled at the 22. No gain. Victor Gray hustles for the tackle. And that is Victor down on the turf in front of the UCF bench.
He got his first sack and only sack middle of the season against East Carolina, but right there, like the pursuit angle, flatten out if you're a defensive lineman so that you eat up the angle of the quarterback. That's well played by Victor Gray. You try to take the angle, now all of a sudden Aaron Murray outruns you. You get flat, you got a chance on him.
Georgia takes their final timeout as they look at a 4th down and 8 with a $1:42 on the clock.
Well, usually we see end arounds with A.J. Green and quick plays just to get him the football. They usually find ways to get the football in his hands, but he's been limited today.
Don't forget, coming up next, College Football Live, followed by the 2010 edition of the Chick-fil-A Bowl, South Carolina, Florida State. Plus, on ESPN3.com, we will have the trophy ceremony coming your way live from the Liberty Bowl here in Memphis. Mark Richt and company trying to avoid their first losing season with him at the helm in Georgia.
Ball game right here.
4th and 8. A.J. Green, first down, Georgia. 14 yards on the pickup.
How special is that? 4th and 8 when you gotta have it. A.J. Green on an in route. Murray waits him out. First window. Just throw it around it. Hands are so good. Just throw it in his area.
Murray buying some time. He'll get out of bounds just over the 40. 1:21 on the clock.
Last piece of information for Aaron Murray as he tries on get some from Mark Richt and Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator. Smart play though. You can run, get some positive yards, but you stop the clock, which is the important thing right now for Georgia. You need stops and you need first downs. Stopping of the clock and first downs, that'll stop it as well.
Second down and 6. Murray dropped at the 41. Maybe a yard. He's going to have to hustle.
What's the golden rule in the 2-minute offense, Dave?
Don't take a sack.
Don't take a sack. Cannot take a sack in that situation if you're Aaron Murray. You're better off just throwing the football in the stands and stopping the clock than to take the sack in that situation.
David Williams down the defensive end for Central Florida. Gives us a chance to take a look at our Amway positive performance. A 4th down grab a moment ago by A.J. Green, his 8th catch.
Yeah, no bigger grab than there. That's ball game. Katie bar the door if he's unable to come up with that play. But A.J. Green is a big-time performer and larger this season than that catch he made on 4th down.
8 catches, 77 yards for A.J. Had a career-high 9 catches and a career-high 164 yards against Auburn in that big Auburn win.
But not giving up the explosive play. Can't do it here.
3rd and 5. Dropped a little bit behind Tavares King, but if you ask him, he'd probably tell you he'd need to make that catch. Justin Body on the coverage.
Another 4th down situation for Aaron Murray and the Georgia Bulldogs. They have the rabbit's foot one more time in their pocket.
That's what that fan with the Santa hat saying. One more time. UCF trying to reach 11 wins for the first time in the history of the program. 4th and 5 for the redshirt freshman quarterback, Aaron Murray. King in motion. Murray throwing back, wide open as Derby makes the catch at the 30. 29 yards. Clock stops, 46 seconds.
Now this is where you might think about clocking it if you're Georgia, if you don't have a play call. But the ball hung in the air so long, you thought it's got to get knocked down or picked off. And Ishmael makes the tackle, but a big play by Aaron Murray.
Murray stands in the pocket, deep over the middle, looking for Durham, incomplete.
Well, Ishmael launched at Durham. Thought maybe a flag would have been thrown, but here's the 4th down play, a little short roll. And coming back, and it's quacking all the way to Chris Durham. But I tell you what, well, George O'Leary can't believe it. I thought it hung in the air a long time, would get knocked down. But the game continues.
And it just started to rain here at the Liberty Bowl.
Well, this is why you love football right here. Love college football.
2nd down and 10, 31 seconds to go. No timeouts for the Dogs. Murray dropped by Bruce Miller. Loss of 9. Georgia's got to hurry up. Clock's at 19, 18.
Saw his bookend David Williams limp off, but Bruce Miller comes up big.
Murray going to the corner. Incomplete. Time for one more play. The clock expires, but
I think it ran off. They're going to have about 2 seconds to run another play.
Could this be a flashback to last night when
North Carolina, Tennessee
got a bonus play? There is Bruce Miller, who has had a heck of a night. 7 tackles, couple of tackles for loss, 2 sacks.
I happen to agree with Derek Dooley as well, wholeheartedly. That rule needs to be changed. An offensive penalty, there should be a runoff in terms of time. I agree totally with that. You can't end the game on a defensive play, but certainly if the offense commits it, they should not get another shot.
The ball spotted at the 38-yard line. Certainly Aaron Murray has more than enough arm to zing one to the end zone, and that's what Georgia has to do here as they look to the replay booth to find out exactly how many seconds should be on the clock.
After further review, there will be 2 seconds added to the clock. The ball will be placed at the previous spot. It will be 4th down.
Yeah, I felt like it was about 2 seconds once the ball touched down. So Georgia going to have one more shot at it. And if I'm Central Florida, I'm going to send about 5 guys to the side of A.J. Green, because that's where Aaron Murray, if they can hold up in protection, that's where I'm going with the football as the quarterback of Georgia.
To the end zone. Back down. UCF wins their first ever bowl game, and they take down the Georgia Bulldogs 10-6, winning for the 11th time in 2010.
What do you do, Dave? Knock it down. Aaron Murray with a roll. He has plenty of time to get the football off. All you want is a chance to throw it to the end zone. Maybe something good happens. It gets knocked down by Emory Allen. Right there, excuse me, Camille Ismail is the guy that gets the paw on it, knocks it to the turf. And George O'Leary has his first win in a bowl game at Central Florida.
Our Capital One player of the game, who else but Latavius Murray? His second 100-yard game of the season, 18 rushes, 104 yards, and the only touchdown of the game. On first and goal from the 10, he takes it right up the middle, and that is the difference. But how about Georgia? On their opening drive, they kicked the field goal on 4th and a yard, half yard from the 2.
I still can't argue with that decision. I know they were averaging 4 yards a carry, but when you're in a bowl game, you've been away from it a long time, you take the field goal, you take the points.
Well, how about Central Florida? Big win against the Southeastern Conference. They win it 10-6. Tough night for the Dogs, but a great night if you're a Knights fan. Once again, the final score, 10-6. Central Florida wins it. For live coverage of the trophy ceremony down on the field, log on to ESPN3.com. College Football Live coming up after this one. For Andre, Kara, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long and Happy New Year from Memphis, where UCF is the champion of the 2010 AutoZone Liberty Bowl.